Hello and welcome back everyone, we Weeb Online, and today I'm gonna start a new series, What If Naruto Was Captured by the Leaf, Part 1. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up, and to watch more videos like this, subscribe to my channel and turn that bell notification on so you never miss an upload. Now wasting no more time, let's begin.
The Sandaime Hokage gave the thief a tired look. In front of him, the boy had his head down and was holding a pair of anbu. He stood still. He was shocked that things had turned so bad. He had only been there 2 days when the boy in front of him painted the mountain's stone faces. Now he was being caught trying to steal Konoha's most valuable scroll. The old leader spoke slowly and asked, "What am I going to do with you, Naruto? Why would you betray me and all of Konoha like this?" The only man in the village who was important to Uzumaki Naruto was sad, and he looked up at him. But Mizuki-sensei said it was a make-up test. He told me if I could bring him the scroll I would become a genin. Naruto got a narrow look from the Hokage. "You mean your teacher told you to do this?" Naruto agreed. "I failed because I couldn't make a bunshin. He told me that to make up the test, I had to sneak in here and take the big scroll. If I could do that and learn one jutsu from it, and show him that I could do it, he would pass me. Did I do something wrong?" The boy looked up with tears in his eyes when he saw the Hokage's face. He knew that he had done something wrong. He had broken the trust of the person who meant the most to him. When Sarutobi looked at the blonde boy again, he saw that he was telling the truth. Because he was following orders from a higher up, he couldn't just destroy the legacy of the fourth. But he did need to be sure that the real criminal had been caught. "Naruto, you will wait here with these anbu. I will go check on something." "Where exactly did Mizuki tell you to wait for him?" Mizuki laughed as he walked toward where they were going to meet. The demon had not been caught because there had been no alarm sound. Since there were no signs of any traps being set, the demon must have opened the scroll without getting hurt. Now, all that was left was to get the thing and kill the demon. He could be sure that this would make Orochimaru like him again. From where he was standing, he saw the blonde demon reading the open scroll while sitting down. He laughed and then jumped down next to the blonde. "Good job, Naruto. You got the scroll, I see." "Very good job indeed. Now, just roll it up and back away," Mizuki told her. "But Mizuki-sensei, I managed to learn a technique like you told me to. Does that mean I get to be a genin now?" She laughed and said, "You actually believe me? Kami, you are a stupid demon." "Demon? Why are you calling me a demon, Mizuki-sensei? Haven't you ever wondered why people shun you, Naruto? It is because you are responsible for the slaughter of so many 13 years ago. You are the nine-tailed fox trapped in human form. I am going to take that scroll and kill you now. I will have revenge for my family." Mizuki cried out. The blonde didn't seem scared or upset by Mizuki's mood swing. Rather, he got up and looked very upset. "You should really know better than that, Mizuki. But I think we have heard enough, would you not agree, Hokage-sama?" "Yes, we have, Iruka." "Yes, we have," Sarutobi said as he and a group of anbu came out from behind the building. The blonde, Naruto, blew out chakra smoke, which showed Iruka, Naruto's other teacher. Sarutobi said again, "You are under arrest, Mizuki. If you resist, these anbu will strike you down. Cooperate and you might actually be free to see your fiancé Tsubaki again one day." Mizuki stopped when he heard the name of his fiancé and quietly gave up. They both sighed and stood next to Iruka as the anbu led Mizuki away. Now comes the hard part, Iruka. I have to decide what to do with Naruto. I appreciate your help in this matter and trust to your silence. I know Naruto has become important to you. Yes, he is, Hokage-sama. I had been out looking for him since I could get away from work. I was going to treat him to ramen since he failed his genin test. He tried so hard but he cannot seem to make a bunshin. I could even see the effort and I could have sworn I saw chakra around him right before he did a badly deformed clone, said Iruka. "Wait, you said you saw chakra around the boy while he was taking the test?" Iruka asked. "But for chakra to be visible in that way would mean..." Sarutobi stopped talking as he turned back to his office. "Iruka, come with me. I want to have you there when I talk to Naruto again." With a nod, Uruka followed Sarutobi as he jumped back toward the Hokage Tower. The Anbu kept an eye on Naruto while the boy sat there in pain. Naku knew the woman in the cat mask because she had been one of his many silent watchers over the years. He tried to talk to them a few times, but they always shook their heads and told him they weren't allowed to before disappearing back into the. Behind her mask, she let out a soft sigh. This was never a duty she would have liked. She could see that the boy had a lot of potential, but something had gone wrong along the way. He gave off so much chakra that she could feel it way better than a Chunin could. She had told many people about the jokes he played on them, and he was easily Chunin level at planning and getting away with things. She thought that no one thought the boy was worth the work. It was a real shame. The Hokage walked into the meeting room first, then Uruka with some papers. Kat gave Sarutobi a silent nod to let him know he was there, then moved to wait in the corner. Naruto looked up from where he was sitting and turned pale when he saw his main teacher there too. Sarutobi sat down and motioned for Uruka to join him. He got red and tried to hide in his seat. Naruto, what you told me earlier tonight was entirely correct. Mizuki himself did admit to telling you to come here and take the scroll. In this village, we do not lay the blame on the subordinates for following what they believe to be the legal orders of their superiors. Therefore, you are not to be charged with treason. You trusted Mizuki and he betrayed you. Naruto, I am disappointed in your actions, but you have not betrayed my trust. Sarutobi smiled at Naruto. The boy gave a weak smile, and a few tears fell from his emotional face. Yes, he did need that reassurance. Even though he acts tough, he is a weak boy. She opened the file that had Naruto's name on it. Naruto's grades in the academy are definitely not the best, Hokage-sama. He has failed the exit examination 3 times now. His grades show him as poor in taijutsu, poor in ninjutsu, inadequate in genjutsu, poor on throwing weapons, inadequate in tracking and evasion, inadequate in stealth, poor in written work. Sarutobi looked at Naruto and said, I thought Naruto was doing much better than that in his grades. Naruto shifted a little in the light of the glare. Begging the Hokage's pardon, Kat said. Amino-san is incorrect in Uzumaki-san's ability in stealth, tracking and evasion. I personally have observed several of his pranks, and other Anbu would concur with me that for his training level, his rank should be outstanding. Sarutobi looked at Kat with mixed feelings of worry and shock at what she said. He asked, Are you sure, Kat? As I said, Hokage-sama, Uzumaki-san has shown outstanding ability in regards to stealth, tracking and evasion in his many dealings with the after effects of his pranks. Normally, it takes a Jonin or a half-dozen Chunin working in concert to corral him. We Anbu, who are assigned to observe him, remain away from such things as ordered by you. The sole exception to the trouble in capturing Uzumaki-san is Amino-san here. He can apprehend the boy on his own. We feel that it is a deliberate action on Uzumaki-san's part in those cases. There have even been cases where he has managed to elude his Anbu watchers for up to 5 minutes as well. He normally is quite aware of our presence nearby but rarely the exact location. We put that awareness to experience and some innate ability. Uruka, who is the person grading Naruto in the areas of stealth, tracking and evasion? That would be Mizuki, Hokage-sama, Uruka said. Kat, why is this the first I am hearing about such ability on behalf of Naruto? It has been documented in many reports submitted by myself and others, Hokage-sama. We all assumed you knew and were not showing favoritism in regard to Uzumaki-san. His pranks cause ill will for himself even if they are just attempts at attention. He almost growled as he got up and stalked out of the office with a deep frown. He came back a few minutes later with several files that were all labeled, Uzumaki Naruto. He gave Kat one and asked, Is this one of your reports? Kat quickly looked over the report. It was about a joke Naruto played 2 weeks before. This is not the report I submitted, Hokage-sama. The general wording is mine but many details have been edited out and the amount of damage incurred has been altered. In this incident, only a single vendor's cart was touched, not a half-dozen as the report states. There was no damage to the vendor's wares and this report states near complete destruction. Now Sarutobi really had a frown on his face. Your reports all go through Koga-san, Kat? Yes, Hokage-sama. He is one of Danzo's former root members. It seems several people are trying to get Naruto into bad graces all over, but one rabbit might have flushed one another out for me. Danzo has a standing request to have Naruto assigned to his training program. I have consistently forbidden such a thing. The fourth would roll in his grave if I did that to Naruto. The samurai sighed. Cat, round up several of the others who have filed reports on Naruto whom you trust. In the morning, I want you all to go over all of your past reports filed on Naruto in my office over the past 2 years. I wish to know the truth on what they say against what you actually wrote. Naruto, tomorrow we are going to have all of your skills re-evaluated by people I trust in all the areas not taught by Iruka alone. Be back here at noon tomorrow. I'll escort Naruto home and bring him back here in the morning. Hokage-sama, Iruka said. Sarutobi only gave a nod. Their teacher showed them how to leave the building. Come stay at my house tonight, Naruto. Things are going to be bad tomorrow and keeping a close eye on you might be the best thing right now. Why are things going to be bad, Ikura-sensei? Naruto asked. Because some people have done the worst possible thing to do in Konoha. They intentionally lied to the Hokage. It also looks like they did the second worst as well. What is that? They put it in writing. It was another dull day at work for Koga as he walked into his office. Being a secretary in the Hokage Tower wasn't the best job for a man who used to be a ninja and a root agent, but he could have chosen worse. At least when the new academy class graduated, he could give some of the more promising test failures to his master Danzo and Root. Another secretary, not as important, was waiting for him behind his desk. Ah, Koga-san. Hokage-sama is waiting for you to discuss your new job. I was assigned to take over your old job this morning. It seems you are being promoted. I was surprised and happy for Koga. He did his job very well. It was good to hear that his hard work would pay off. He quickly went up the stairs with a smile on his face to find out where his new job would be. Koga got to the top of the tower to wait for the main secretary of the Hokage to bring him into the Hokage's office. This took a few minutes. In front of the Hokage, he bowed and waited as Sarutobi took a scroll and 2 folders from his mountain of work. Ah, Koga-san. I am glad you came up here so promptly. We have need of a quality man to fill a new position that just opened up in our liaison office with the daimyo and your name was brought to my attention. I am flattered, Hokage-sama. May I ask what the new position entails? He spoke into his intercom and said, of course. Just a moment. Could you bring in that tea and coffee I had asked for earlier? Of course, Hokage-sama, the secretary said in a nice voice. Koga didn't notice when the door behind him opened. He stiffened up all of a sudden and lost control of his movements. A blond man in a genin vest walked up to him and waved his hand in front of his face. Yamanaka. I have to. Ah, Inoichi, Shikaku, right on time. Inoichi, please have Koga-san be seen leaving the main gate toward the capital. I do not want Danzo and his cronies getting wind that one of his spies has been caught just yet. I will have the paperwork of his mission filed immediately. Once Koga is seen leaving, get him to Ibiki as soon as you can. Kat was sitting in the file room with 3 other masked Anbu agents. Ume, the secretary to the Hokage, showed them the right cabinet with news stories about the Uzumaki boy. 2 drawers in a single cabinet were full of dozens of reports of incidents. Kat went through the cabinet and took out the ones where she had filed reports herself. After taking a quick look at the first one, she shook her head because her report had been changed a lot. She got a pad of paper and started writing down what she saw. The report she was reading was about a stink bomb that went off months ago. Because Naruto used something smelly, a store did close while the air was blown out of the building. Naruto was kicked out because he asked the owner how much something cost the day before. Kat remembered clearly the bad smell and that all it had done was make the air smell bad. But the damage report was way too high, so the store had to be closed. It was clear that an acidic substance had been used, which hurt a lot of the man's goods. The Hokage office, which is in charge of Naruto, gave permission for Naruto to pay for new goods to replace the ones that were broken. Kat thought the amount written down was impressive. When she looked into a few more prank cases, she saw that money was being paid out for harm that had not happened. On her pad, she wrote down all the amounts. The other agents saw what she was writing and started pointing out those in their reports that gave false damage payouts. There were a lot of reports after all the ones from the last 2 years were added up. Wow, we wouldn't have a market district if he had really done the bad things that these reports said he did. Cat thought. There is enough money being stolen to pay several high-level ninjas a nice salary. This wouldn't happen if the Hokage didn't get so many reports every day. Koga has probably been able to lie in reports for years. For his job, he's not spending more than he makes, so the money is going somewhere else. Ibiki needs to find out that too. Kat got her notes together and went to the Hokage's office. Ume, the secretary, waved Kat in to see Sarutobi right away. Kat bowed and then began to talk. Hokage-sama, my fellows and I have examined many reports on Naruto's pranks over the last 2 years. Our preliminary finding are that a pattern of falsehood exists in the reports and that monetary damages being paid out by the treasury exceed any real damage by a factor of 100 or more. In fact, from our own recollections, any damage actually incurred was more from people panicking than from malicious behavior on Naruto's part. Our knowledge of his pranks shows that they are intended to annoy and disrupt rather than hurt anyone or anything. Sarutobi said slowly. That last bit falls in line with Naruto's character. He is starved for attention, and even negative attention is better than none. Koga will have a lot to answer for, but we must move quickly. He will be missed soon. Cat, find Kakashi and tell him I need his old team for a secret mission. I will see him this afternoon once I have examined Naruto's performance. Iruka and Naruto walked into the training hall together, while the Hokage waited with 2 Anbu bodyguards. She stood up and bowed to the Hokage. Naruto did well too after Iruka gave him a light tap. Thanks you for allowing Naruto to demonstrate his skills for you, Hokage-sama, she said. It was necessary, but Sarutobi smiled because he knew it would be more of a long embarrassing experience for the boy. Naruto, I know this will be very frustrating for you, but it is necessary to see what you know and where you have been taught wrong. First, go through the 5 standard katas of the Academy Taijutsu. Iruka gave Naruto a push when he looked like he was lost for a moment. Your daily exercise forms, Naruto. It looked like Naruto was going to attack, but Sarutobi stopped him right away. What is that stance, Naruto? Naruto made a face. That's what Mizuki-sensei made me do every day. He said it was an advanced form just for me, while everyone else did the basics. Naruto saw the old leader's frown and knew what it meant. Naruto's smile went away as he said, "It's not, is it? Do you remember the basic moves, Naruto?" Iruka asked. Naruto continued, "I think so, Iruka-sensei." He then talked about what he remembered, but the whole time he was awkward and off balance. The boy was done, and he just stood there quietly while Sarutobi watched. The old leader kept quiet for a moment before slowly nodding. I have seen worse. Now for the 3 basic ninjutsu. Replacement, transformation and clone techniques. I am well aware of your skill with transformation, so we can skip that one. Using the full hand seal sequence you were taught, replace yourself with the bucket of water on the other end of the hall. Naruto said, it doesn't work for me if I use the whole sequence I was taught. I was using one I saw the Teme, Sasuke use. Haruhi waved Naruto closer and said, Naruto, show me the hand seals you learned without using chakra. He took a few steps closer and slowly broke through the seals. Bear, the Anbu, broke the silence with a mild swear word. You recognized that sequence? Sarutobi asked Bear, looking confused. Yes, Hokage-sama. If he used that sequence, he could make a replacement technique work if he used a small amount of chakra. However, it is actually the sequence for a suicide technique designed to bury the user into the ground if captured. I'm glad I copied off the Tem then, Naruto said in a low voice. Again, Sarutobi frowned and said, now for the clone technique, Naruto. Naruto moaned when he heard that, but he did what he was told. He focused and made the seals, but just like in his genin test, he only got one clone that looked sick. Naruto looked sad as Sarutobi rubbed his chin. Naruto, I want you to try again for me, but do something different. Use the same amount of chakra but focus on making 50 clones, not just one. All of Iruka and the Anbu looked at the Hokage with blank stares. When they turned back to Naruto, they saw him concentrate again. 500 copies of Naruto appeared when he used his jutsu. The air around the boy sparkled. Iruka had a crazy look on her face when she saw so much orange. After a smirk, Sarutobi said, "I thought as much." Iruka asked, "Sir? You told me you could see chakra around Naruto when he tried to make his clone technique work. That means he was badly overloading it. Anbu, activate my privacy barrier seals on the hall. This next test would be felt clear outside the village without them if I am not mistaken." The Anbu did what they were told, and the walls lit up in a dim blue light. "Naruto, this last test will be the most important of them all. You remember the exercises back in the first year of the academy where you practiced pulling out chakra?" The kid said, "Yes." "Then I want you to make as much chakra as you can using that method," Sarutobi said. He took a step back and looked scared for a moment. He made a sign with one hand and held it still while he watched. As chakra swirled around the boy, it turned into a blue-white sphere that surrounded him. It amazed Sarutobi how much pure light there was around the young man. "Is that you maximum, Naruto?" "No. Last time I did this, Kara-sensei said I must be doing it wrong because no academy student should be able to do this." "No, you are doing it correctly, Naruto. Focus and pull it all out. We need to know how much chakra you have. Pull until it starts to feel different." Naruto closed his eyes, focused more, and pulled. The orb that was around him got even brighter and bigger. It hurt my eyes to look at the light for almost a minute. When Naruto got tired and fell to his knees, the light went out. Satoshi smiled at the boy as he walked up to him. "That was very impressive, Naruto. Was that as much as you could make?" "Well, I kept going until I started to feel sick to my stomach. After that I just held it there." "Iruka, why don't you go get Naruto that ramen you were going to buy him last night?" "I need to take care of a few things first," Sarutobi said. He then pulled out some bills and gave them to Iruka. "It's on me this time." The teacher and the boy left, and Sarutobi turned to face the Anbu in the mask. When the masks and cloaks were taken off, the two forms showed themselves to be a pair of genin. Tenzo and Sarutobi Asuma. Asuma pointed out, the boy has no useful skills at all at this point. His teacher, Mizuki, was trying to kill him and make it look like an accident. When he couldn't do that, he must have taught Naruto that flawed taijutsu. Another genin could easily kill him in a deathmatch if he tried to fight with that. It was agreed upon by Tenzo. His chakra level is monstrous in amount, but he has no control over it. Based on what he showed today, right now he stands in the top dozen in the history of Konoha in terms of pure chakra. It is scary to realize he is only a kid and nowhere near his potential. Sarutobi gave a nod. "I hope you noticed he never tapped into the Kyuubi chakra at all. It was all his. One side effect of being its jailer. We cannot let him just go and be a civilian after this. Not with Danzo lurking out there waiting to try to claim him." The old leader stopped. "But maybe that might be exactly what we want to happen. Asuma, remember back when you were a boy? All the trouble I had with weeds in our yard?" His younger brother laughed and said, "Yeah, it used to drive you crazy, old man. No matter how many times you pulled them out, they kept growing back. It took me getting a special herbicide to get rid of them. The weeds kept growing back because I could not get the whole root out. The herbicide ended up getting inside the weed and killing it all the way down to the roots. I am loath to use him like this, but in this case, Naruto will be our herbicide. With a little luck, he will get drawn into it and destroy the entire root for us." It was nice to see Naruto happily eating ramen noodles while Iruka watched. As always, the boy's teacher was shocked by how much ramen he could eat in one sitting. But he knew how the boy could do it because he had seen how well he did on the Hokage's test earlier. His body burned the calories and turned them into a huge amount of chakra. It seems that being the Kyuubi's container had some unknown effects on his body besides the whiskers. He will have spent the money Hokage-sama gave him in 2 more bowls. He needs to slow down, please. "Hold on, Naruto," Iruka told the blonde. "Do not forget your manners in front of Ayame. I know I taught you better than that." Naruto stopped and looked up at Ayame, the cook's daughter, with a heavy blush. The girl smiled at Naruto and messed up his hair. "Don't worry too much, Naruto. I know you're not doing it to be rude. At least you never spill or make a mess on the counter." Naruto yelled, "No way. That would be wasting ramen." Iruka and Ayame both laughed at how serious the blonde boy was about his ramen. Iruka spoke up again, It's time to go back to Hokage-sama's office and find out what he decided, Naruto. Naruto calmed down and ate 2 more bowls at a more normal pace. Naruto had a moment to think before nodding. He then slowly got up to leave. Iruka cleared his throat out loud. Iruka cleared his throat again and nodded his head toward Ayame. Naruto just looked at her blankly. Naruto looked confused for a second time before he blushed and stumbled out a quiet, "Thank you," to Ayame. The woman gave them a friendly smile and a goodbye as the teacher and student left to meet the Hokage. As Sarutobi Hiruzen looked at the sincere blonde bundle of energy in front of him, he felt all 69 of his years at once. He was aware that his choice would hurt the boy's feelings, but it had to be made. Naruto, after seeing your performance and taking into account the recommendations of the Anbu I had observing, I cannot grant you genin rank at this time. Naruto did nothing but sit there while the Hokage told everyone what he had decided. The boy hung his head in defeat. Iruka said, "But Hokage-sama, Naruto does try very hard and has immense potential that would make him a fine ninja one day." Sarutobi said, "I agree that he has potential. But right now it is only that, potential. I will grant that some of his failing have come from deliberate attempts to sabotage his education. However, his lack of effort on his own part has also contributed to his poor performance. Skipping class to perform pranks does not constitute good effort, Naruto." Naruto tried to sit down even more small in his chair. "Taking everything into account, I will grant Naruto one more 6-month period in the remedial class at the academy. This is where those who failed to pass their Jonin Sensei's test are sent. Failure there will result in permanent dismissal from the ninja program and being sent to the daimyo's samurai legion as a conscript. Do you understand, Naruto?" Sarutobi looked at Naruto with all the power in his office. Poor Naruto could only pale and slowly nod. A sharp nod from Sarutobi, and he whispered, "You are dismissed." Iruka gave his boss a mean look, but he quickly pushed Naruto out of the office. After they shut the door, Sarutobi slouched down and frowned. He did nothing that night and just sat in his apartment. He was awake all the time and didn't want anything, not even ramen. His hopes were dashed, and unless something changed, he would never be Hokage. He woke up when someone lightly tapped on his window. He sneaked over to peek out and took out a kunai from under his pillow. He didn't see anyone. It took him a while to turn around and see the Hokage standing in his apartment. Naruto was furious that the old leader did nothing but stand there and be quiet. The boy yelled, "What are you doing here? It's bad enough you are taking away my dreams, but now you have to come taunt me in my own apartment." "No, Naruto. I am not here to taunt you. I am here because I need you to do something for me." Naruto hissed, "Why should I do anything for you?" He was crying. A folder was held out by Sarutobi, who said, "First, read this report." Naruto thought for a moment before taking out the folder and reading the short report on a trick he pulled a few weeks ago. The boy turned pale and looked shocked. I didn't do that kind of damage." Sarutobi gave a nod. "I am aware of that. However, someone is trying to make it look like you did. I have a few ideas on whom, but I must keep those secret for now. Are you willing to listen to me now as I explain a few things?" A slow nod from Naruto, and Sarutobi pointed to the bed. They both sat down as the Hokage began to talk. "I know you wish to become Hokage one day, Naruto. Being Hokage is about a lot more than being respected or in charge. Sometimes it is making a tough decision on who will live and who will die." The boy gasped because he had never thought about that part of the job before. Being Hokage is also about lies and deception. What I did today was setting up something that will be very important for the future of this village and everyone in it. It involves you directly. There are people within the village who want to use you as a weapon. It involves the reason why so many people are unkind to you and ignore or mistreat you. I need to tell you about this reason before I ask you to do something for me. Do you remember your classes on sealing, Naruto? Sort of. Iruka Sensei used chakra to put stuff into a scroll to make it easier to carry. That is one use for sealing and the very one I was hoping you would recall right now. After Iruka sealed the items into the scroll, did the scroll stop being a scroll? No, it was a scroll with a bunch of kunai in it. Good. Keep that in mind as I get to the next part. What happened the day you were born? The Kyuubi attacked and the fourth killed it. He died doing it. Sarutobi said, "That is what we tell everyone, Naruto, but it is not entirely correct. The fourth did stop the Kyuubi and he did die doing so, but even he could not kill a. Instead, he sacrificed his life to call upon the power of a death god to seal the Kyuubi inside of a newborn baby. Inside of you, Naruto." Naruto was about to lose it when he said, "I have a demon inside of me." Naruto, calm down. Calm down. How can I calm down? Is it gonna eat me? It's going to eat my soul, isn't it? Sarutobi moaned and hit the crying boy hard. You hit me. Yes, I needed you to stop ranting. Now, are you a demon or are you a person that is keeping a demon trapped? I guess I'll keep it trapped, Naruto said in a low voice. That is correct. When you were a baby, I passed a law making it a crime to tell anyone who did not already know about your condition. The only ones who are supposed to know are all adults now, and they should not be telling anyone else, but they are anyway. That is why so many people go out of their way to ignore you or treat you poorly. I have tried to do what I can, but even a Hokage can only do so much. But why not? Why do they treat me badly like they do? Mostly because of fear, Naruto. A single person can be smart and fearless, but get a group of people in one place and they become stupid and cowardly. Like a Yame at the ramen stand. She knows about your secret, but does she treat you badly? No, she is really nice to me. She sees who you are, Naruto, not something to be afraid of, just a sad lonely boy who wants to have some ramen. But the crowd, they only see the demon, not the boy who keeps it captive. They don't see that you protect us all from and are afraid of it. I protect people from it? Yes, Naruto. Your entire life you have served the village by being its protector from the demon you keep trapped within you. But, why did you threaten to send me away from here into the daimyo's samurai legions? I was getting to that, Naruto. I have a problem and I need your help to solve it. I do not want to just use you without you knowing about it, but I needed to make a point in public that people will know and talk about, and I did not have time to ask you first. This is one of the difficult decisions a Hokage has to make that I mentioned earlier, Naruto. There are people who do not have the best interests of Konoha in their hearts. They just want power for themselves. They know you are special to me and that I have watched over you for years. I needed to make it look like I was angry with you and was pushing you away. This way they will creep out from their hidden places and approach you. They will make offers to you and try to use you to get more power for themselves. These same people wrote the lies in the report I showed you earlier. So I should tell you right away if they come to me? No, Naruto. I want you to pretend to go along with what they want you to do. Their leader is the one I am after, not the little minions. Once they think they have you in their clutches, they will take you to him. That is when I will get him and take out the whole root of this problem at once. It sounds important. What if I can't do it? I think you can, Naruto. But I leave the choice to you. You have options. You can reject my mission and go through the remedial class and try to pass in 6 months. Iruka will be checking on your progress weekly to ensure you are being taught correctly. That alone should give you the skills you need to pass with no problem. If you accept my mission now, you would become an official ninja of Konoha, but no one will know about it except me until after your mission is complete. Sarutobi stopped Naruto just as he was about to shout, "Yes, before you accept, I have to tell you. Failing in this mission will likely result in your death, Naruto. I want you to spend a day to think about things over and I will return tomorrow night to hear your answer." As soon as Naruto nodded, Sarutobi was gone in a puff of chakra smoke. After that, Naruto walked around Konoha all day. Having learned more about what he held, he thought about how most people treated him. Ninjas and regular people treated him very differently. Ninjas who were busy would ignore him like they would any other 12-year-old student at the academy, whether he was good or bad. He had never seen Mizuki treat someone so badly. It was the rare occasion when she did. Ninjas who were retired didn't really care about him unless he was playing a joke on them. People in the street would often push him away and keep their kids from playing with him. Most merchants were friendly, but older merchants were especially mean. Plus, he said, a lot of them had been pranked after he was treated badly. Different kids his age and younger were either wary or neutral around him, and some were even nice to him. He got lost and ended up at the academy. From the swing, he saw the students who had passed leave with Jonin, Kiba, Shino, and Hinata left with a pretty woman with tears in her eyes. Choji, Shikamaru, and Ino left with a genin with a beard that Naruto thought looked familiar but didn't know why. Even though Iruka finally left for the day, he saw Sakura-chan, Sasuke Teme, and another boy still waiting in the room. Once more, after a few hours, Naruto grew bored and lost himself in thought while the other three waited in the classroom. He ended up in front of Ichiraku Ramen after a long walk. The boy with the blonde hair still wasn't hungry. However, he chose to order a single bowl of ramen because he knew he had to eat. Ayame asked him, "What's wrong, Naruto? You didn't eat much last night and only one thing tonight. Are you sick?" "No," Naruto said with a weak smile. "I just learned some things about myself yesterday. Like why people treat me the way they do." Ayame looked sad for a moment and then smiled at the boy. "Naruto, my dad and I have always thought you were a hero. Everyone who gets to know you knows what a great person you are," she said with a wink. "If you were a few years older, I'd just keep you for myself." Naruto didn't understand what she meant by that, so he ate his ramen in silence. When Sarutobi showed up in Naruto's apartment later that night, he was waiting. "Well, Naruto, what is your decision?" Naruto smiled and said, "Well, I'm scared, but I'll do it, old man." Sarutobi said, "Then I can tell you what you need to do. Tomorrow, you will try to see me in my office to try to convince me to change my mind about making you a genin. I will have you thrown out after a loud shouting match with one of my Anbu. He will say some hurtful things to you, Naruto, but this will all be cover for what you must do later on." "Hurtful?" Sarutobi gave another nod. "He will call you several cruel names in front of several secretaries whose allegiance I am not certain of and have you removed from the tower without seeing me. Please know that I do not think that way at all. After that, you must not try to see me in the tower. I will come here once a week for any information you might have learned. Once you have been thrown out, you act bitter towards me and, if you choose to do so, make unfavorable statements about me. This will draw the people I wish to capture to you. I will assume it will be for some kind of special secret training. Go along with them and earn their trust. In time they will take you to see their leader. I believe him to be the man named Danzo, the bandaged guy who was limping." Naruto asked. "You are an observant one, Naruto." "Well, he is always looking at me whenever I see him. I figured he was some kind of perv or child molester, so I would stay away from him when he wanted to talk to me." Sarutobi laughed but went on, "If something comes up where you need to see me at once, you are to go to Ichiraku Ramen. Once there you will order the special Hokage only ramen and get it to go. She will say it is for the Hokage only, but you tell her you are going to be the Hokage one day and you are entitled to it." Naruto was excited and asked, "So, how do I start this mission, old man?" "That part is simple. You go to the remedial classes as scheduled and wait for them to get in touch with you." He was at the tower very early in the morning. To get the most out of what he had to do, he thought he should do it in front of as many people as possible. Being calm, he sat on a bench outside the Hokage's tower. People were going into the building for their normal workday, which he watched. Finally, he saw Sarutobi walk right by him without stopping to look. He said, "Hey, old man," in his loud, friendly voice. "I need to talk to you." Unlike the other times Naruto had called out to him, Sarutobi didn't turn around and went into the building. The Anbu guards who were with him had barely looked at Naruto. Natsu took a deep breath and ran into the building after the others. He yelled, "Hey, wait a second," as he followed the Hokage up the building. He made himself sound desperate as they walked past many lower-level offices by saying, "Please, Gigi, I really need to talk to you about this." As the boy yelled, more and more people turned their heads around their desks. Finally, Naruto reached the office door and tried to open it like he always did when he came to the tower. One of the Anbu guards grabbed his wrist and stopped his hand. "Your Majesty will not see you, child. He has no more time for your foolish behavior," the guard wearing a bear mask said in a calm voice. He yelled, "I am not a failure. I am going to be Hokage one day. You'll see." He freed his hand and tried to grab the door handle again. Naruto woke up to find him face first against the wall with a hammerlock on his arm behind his back. "Ow," he whimpered. He grabbed Naruto by the collar of his jacket and frog marched him back down the stairs and out of the building while holding on tight to the arm he was holding. Naruto kept yelling his objections. When the Anbu got outside, they threw Naruto to the ground and spoke in the calm, even voice that Anbu is known for. Uzumaki-san, you are barred from returning to this tower without being summoned from the Hokage or one of the officials within who require your presence. If you return without being summoned, the Hokage will allow the charges he is holding back for the defacing of the monument to proceed and you will be arrested and placed in prison for treason. Do you understand what I have said to you? He sat down in the mud and slowly nodded. I require a verbal answer from you, Uzumaki-san. Do you understand what I have said to you? A soft voice came back from Naruto. Yes, I understand. The Anbu gave a nod and then turned around to go back inside the building. Naruto sat down in the mud for a while and then got up. As he slowly left the tower, tears ran down his face. Sarutobi watched the blonde boy walk away from his window. He felt bad that he had to treat the boy he loved like his own grandson in this way, even though he knew it was all a trick. Someone knocked on his door, and Bear went into his office. Sarutobi turned around and saw Asuma take off the bear mask and look at him for a moment. Asuma was going to say that he didn't like having to do that to Naruto, but the pain in his father's eyes made him decide that he should keep quiet. Just, it's done. As ordered, he said. Sarutobi gave a nod. Now we wait. The hardest part about fishing is seeing what nibbles on the bait you toss out and how long it will take, and hoping they do not notice the little hook waiting for them when they do. Konoha was hit by rumors like wildfire. Naruto was thrown out of the tower by the third. A lot of people thought that the old leader was finally no longer interested in the demon container. One stupid person thought he could do something about how much he disliked the boy. Naruto had his hands in his pockets and his head down as he walked when the bottle flew out of the alley. It turned sharply in the air and flew up to a roof, where an Anbu caught it. Naruto didn't even notice. When the man turned to run away, he met one of the Anbu wait behind him. The boy may have fallen out of favor, idiot, but the third's law still remains. With a swirl of leaves, the Anbu and the civilian were gone. Naruto showed up for the extra classes a few days after what happened at the tower. He was shocked that only 13 of the 20 other students there had passed the genin test. But if they passed, why are they here? He was curious. The biggest surprise was that Sakura was with the group. She was put on a team with Sasuke and a kid from a village on the edge of town. Why is she here if I don't see Teme or that other kid? He noticed that Sakura's head was hung low, just like his had been when he failed the tests. Even her normally bright pink hair looked dirty, like it hadn't been washed in days. He went up to her. Sakura-chan, what are you doing here? He asked in a low voice. He caught Sakura's eye. Her bright green eyes were dead. Hi Naruto. Guess I'm where I belong. With the losers. What happened? You passed the test. So did a bunch of other people in here. I don't understand. Sakura said, it seems there is a second test by the Jonin teachers. If they fail you, you get washed back. My team failed. His answer made him wonder, but if you failed, then where is the Teme? Kakashi-sen's. Kakashi-san said his skills were good enough that he could be used as a replacement in an existing team. Mine weren't, she said without much energy. Naruto was shocked by her answer. He had insulted Sasuke and Sakura hadn't even said anything back, and he was really scared. Even though he sat next to her, she didn't move. Sakura, I'm sitting next to you, you know. I'm not even defending myself, so if you felt like it, you could hit me on the head for it. Sakura just put her head down again. No thanks, Naruto. He tried to think of another way to make Sakura feel better. You know, it could be worse. They could have kicked you out altogether. If they sent you here, they might think you are still good enough but just lacking something. Like with me, I can't make a simple clone. If you fix that one area, you could be a ninja after all. She looked up again and asked, are you sure? What if I fail again? Will they fire me? Then go out trying your best. I read something once but I can't remember what it said, so I'll tell you what I remember of it. I will fight until I have nothing left. If my weapon breaks, I'll fight with my hands. If my hands are cut off, I'll kick them with my feet. If my feet get cut off, I'll crawl along the ground and bite them. If they kill me, I will still win by getting my blood on them and ruining their clothes. Naruto's cheesy last line made Sakura laugh, and his smile seemed to make her feel better. That was horrible and I never heard of anything like that, Naruto. But I think that was something like a samurai's motto. He was honest when he said, maybe, but it did make you smile, Sakura-chan. You look better when you smile. After that, Sakura gave Naruto a weak smile. Thanks, Naruto. They didn't say a word until a teacher they didn't know came in. This person was dressed like a chunin of Konoha. He looked around at the other students in the room and then spoke in a loud, clear voice. All of you are here for one reason or another. The underlying reason is that all of you here have washed out of the academy training program. None of you are any longer on the fast track for advancement, and few if any of you are likely to be making Jonin rank. You are plain grunts from now on. I am the only person you need to impress while I see if I can salvage any of you into passable ninja. I will not tolerate backtalk or slackers in my class. After today, all of you will come to class in suitable attire and respond to military discipline. You will address me as sir. That is the only way you will refer to me. Do you understand me, class? Some students answered with a weak, yes, sir. I could not hear you. Do you understand me, class? A louder, yes, sir, came from the class. From now on, all of your answers will be loud and clear. You will wear dark blue, dark green, or black to class. When you're on duty, you will cover your brightly colored hair or dye it a dark color so it doesn't hang down below your neck. He gave Sakura and Naruto direct looks about those points. When I call on you in class, you will rise and stand straight before replying to me. Are there any questions for me? Naruto put his hand just above his head. The teacher pointed at him and said, "You, with the whiskers." "Sir," Naruto said with one hand on the back of his head, "I don't have any other clothes that could be used for ninja work. I don't have enough money to buy better clothes." When the students spoke, the teacher asked them, "Whiskers, did I say you could smile or rub the back of your head when you addressed me?" "No, sir." The teacher walked up to Naruto and glared at him from just a few inches away. "Then get down on the floor and do 20 push-ups for your mistake." Naruto got down on the ground and started to do push-ups. He quickly did the 20 and stood up again. "We have a comedian, class. How many push-ups did you do for me, Whiskers?" "I did 20, sir," Naruto said in a loud voice. "Really? I never heard you say you did any. And how do I know you actually did 20? Maybe you only did 19 and are lying to me? Are you lying to me, Whiskers?" "No, sir." It was loud. "Then I want to hear you do those push-ups, Whiskers." When Naruto got back to the floor, he did more push-ups, making sure to count each one as his body rose and fell. As he was getting up from the last one, a foot pushed his chest back to the ground. "Are you trying to get thrown out of this program, Whiskers?" "No, sir." "I think you are. You seem to think you are special or something. You did every one of those push-ups wrong." He saw Sakura. "Pinky, what did Whiskers do wrong?" She quickly stood up and said, every time he spoke, he forgot to say sir. The man looked down and said, "Do my 20 push-ups, Whiskers." Naruto felt his foot leave his back, and he did 20 more push-ups, making sure to count each one and say, "Sir," at the end of each one. Naruto stood back up when he was done. What did the teacher say? To answer your question, you may go ask the quartermaster for appropriate clothing. The cost of it will be deducted if you make genin. Otherwise, you will be charged for it if you wash out completely. He gave Naruto a piece of paper. "Give them this. Take Pinky with you because both of you are wearing clothes that say, 'Kill me.'" The teacher then went over the class schedule and told them that every day they would work out together to make sure that everyone could handle the physical side of being a ninja. That's when he told the class to go home and came back the next day. The teacher went to a simple building and went inside. He went down a secret set of stairs and came out in a wide space. He dropped to one knee in front of an old man who was holding himself up with a cane. "Danzo-sama, the newest class does contain the container as we had been informed. The group also contains 3 or 4 other potential recruits. With the proper mindset they could do well for Root." Danzo smiled in a funny way. "Keep an eye on the ones you think might be useful eventually. Make sure they all receive strict discipline. Do not approach the container just yet. Have him watched when he is not in training. I want to see if he truly has fallen out of favor with the Hokage before we approach him. He needs the most discipline of them all." Let the system do our initial training for us. Naruto and Sakura finally found the quartermaster's warehouse, which was a long way from the areas they normally stayed away from. When they showed the note from their teacher, each of them got 4 dark blue sets of clothes. They didn't want to dye their hair, so they bought several scarves that they could wear under their headbands to hide it. To hide her bangs, Sakura would have to wear hers the normal way and tie her hair up in a bun to keep it long. They were able to leave once the paperwork for the clothes was done. The quartermaster also gave each of them a pack to carry their clothes in. They slowly made their way back to the areas where people lived. Sakura-chan, do you want to get some ramen with me? I'll pay. I have a little bit of money left. It was quiet for a minute. Naruto had always asked her to go on dates, but she would hit him so it didn't look like she was giving up on Sasuke. Now, though, things were very different for her. She didn't have Sasuke to fall back on. There was no one else in class that she knew nearly as well as Naruto. Everyone she knew more than just on the surface had passed the real test, leaving her with only Naruto. She didn't want to turn away the person who was most like a friend to her. She finally said, "Fine," in the sad voice she had been using outside of class. "It is not a date, just a pair of friends getting something to eat." When Naruto smiled big, it seemed to warm her up and make her feel a little better. Over the next 3 months, Naruto and Sakura's lives went by slowly each day. For some reason, the teacher seemed to really enjoy torturing them. They didn't realize they were being turned into little soldiers because every time they did something different, they were given harsh physical punishment in the form of more exercise. Ninjas learned all the physical skills they needed in class, as well as tactics and team formations. They did taijutsu every day, and it hurt all of them. Knife skills, throwing weapons, ways to kill quietly, and offensive and defensive positions. There were none of the classes on leadership that they had learned at the academy. They were aware that they were not in charge anymore. They would become the followers. They would be part of the background without a name. They would all be dressed the same. Sakura's physical strength got a lot better. Early on, she chose to listen to Naruto's advice. If they kicked her out, she wouldn't quit, which would make them feel good. Along with the rest of her body, her thin arms put on muscle. Because she was getting stronger, her chakra reserves were many times higher than they were in the original academy. Because of the flexibility exercises she did in class, she didn't get too bulky and look like a weightlifter. Instead, her body became more like that of a gymnast. In the second month, Sakura's bun fell apart after a long day of running an obstacle course. Her long hair fell down her back. Her teacher started yelling at her right away to do something. She pulled out a kunai and cut the hair off her neck with it as he yelled at her. The pink strings were just dropped into the mud, and she kept going. She never thought about it again. Naruto also got much fitter after being a skinny boy. This punishment from the teacher got worse because he had trouble controlling his chakra. But he didn't forget one thing. The Hokage hired him for this job, which was a mission. Naruto and Sakura's only bright spot was each other. The other students left them alone because they were the troublemakers of the group. As they trained, they kept an eye on each other to make sure the other person was making it through each stage. During lunch, they would sit together, and at night, they would walk home together. Sasuke would get ramen from Naruto every few days, but Naruto ate a lot less than he used to because he didn't have as much money. In their free time, they didn't talk much, and the only time they saw their old friends was when they were doing something else. They did notice that their old friends didn't pay any attention to the 2 trainees who were dressed the same and had the same head coverings. He kept his word and came by his apartment once a week late at night. In the beginning, Naruto would talk in great detail about what he had seen and done, but these talks got shorter and shorter every week. After almost 3 months, he finally gave up and said, "Nothing to report, Hokage-sama." When Sarutobi heard that, he frowned because it was all Naruto had to say. But he saw how the boy had changed over time. He hoped that the happy boy he knew wouldn't be gone for good. He then blew out of Naruto's apartment like smoke. As soon as Sarutobi got back to his mansion, the shadow clone disappeared, and memories began to flood his mind. He had to move things along more quickly. Root must be hesitant to talk to Naruto since he hasn't done so yet. He had to get things done faster. Among his worries was the disturbing news that a genin team on their way to the Wave country had been killed, along with their jonin teacher and client. This made him even more worried than usual. The teacher took a look at his smaller group of students. 13 of the original 21 students were still there. The rest of them had already left the group. The first 3 months of this program are now over. I hope I have instilled the proper amount of physical and mental discipline into all of you that will be needed in your time as ninja of Konoha. I will turn you over to a new instructor tomorrow to handle your chakra and jutsu training. Stand for the Hokage. Was called out from the door, and all the students quickly stood up. The Hokage quickly walked in wearing his white robes and official hat. He frowned as he looked out at the teens and then turned to the teacher. These are the washouts of the last academy session? Yes, Hokage-sama. They just finished their physical retraining and move on to the chakra and jutsu retraining tomorrow. The Hokage said, yes. Any problems from any of them? Only Uzumaki and Haruno, Hokage-sama. They seem to not like to follow the rules, but we are certain they will fall into line. Their years in the academy left them thinking they were special. Sarutobi walked over to Naruto, who was still paying attention. Still causing problems, Naruto? You must really want to spend the next 20 years of your life in the daimyo's legions, don't you? No, Hokage-sama, Naruto answered. Sarutobi looked at the teacher. Make a note in Uzumaki's file. If he fails out or quits, he goes to the legions as a conscript. Haruno as well. The ranks do not need troublemakers. Yes, Hokage-sama. Sarutobi turned around and walked away without saying anything else. The teacher gave Naruto and Sakura a mean grin and looked scared right at them. Danzo-sama, we have an update on the container. Sarutobi has threatened to send him to the legions as a conscript. Excellent. Desperate men turn to whoever gives them comfort. Watch his home for another 2 months. If no one sees him by then, send in a low-level operative to approach him with an offer. Danzo looked away because he could see that he was getting a better hold on his new weapon. Danzo-sama, we have an update on the container. Sarutobi has threatened to send him to the legions as a conscript. Excellent. Desperate men turn to whoever gives them comfort. Watch his home for another 2 months. If no one sees him by then, send in a low-level operative to approach him with an offer. Danzo looked away because he could see that he was getting a better hold on his new weapon. Sarutobi liked to go outside and watch the different ninjas he was in charge of train. He was too sick to do that this morning. It was getting too important for him to force Danzo's hand. He had to make threats against both Naruto and someone who had nothing to do with his plans. The girl with the bright pink hair from Naruto's class came to mind. He knew she shouldn't be in that program. Kakashi failed the team because he wasn't good at his job and didn't work with others. In fact, he said that the Uchiha should be given psychological tests because he was so determined to kill his brother. The Uchiha boy was sent to fill in for a team that was missing some members because of the schemes of Sarutobi's old teammates. He didn't like it, but as he got older, his power as Hokage was fading. The old Warhawk was badly hurt, so Danzo wouldn't live much longer than him. The root group that Danzo set up would last longer than either of them and hurt Konoha if it wasn't destroyed. Naruto was the main thing that changed for Sarutobi. There was a lot more the boy needed in his life than he had. He thought there was a small chance that the boy would turn if someone gave him something better than what he had been given before. He had to have someone else back up Naruto in case the boy did do what he was told. Naruto really liked the teacher who taught chakra training a lot more than the teacher who taught physical training. His classwork was getting easier with Sakura's help, just like he had helped her work out. In practice, they worked together as a team, but not in real life. They were the best two in the class, even though they got in more trouble and were left out by the other kids. What he had to do for the past 3 months had taught him how to concentrate and pay attention. Now that he was really training on chakra control, that helped him get better at it. The teacher had asked the class to do the most basic chakra measurement task. It caught Sakura by surprise to see that her reserves had grown a lot since she was in the academy. She still had perfect control, and the discipline may have even made it a little better. When she was done, she kept her cool and bowed. "Shaw. I did it," she yelled inside. What did Naruto say to the teacher when it was his turn? "Sir, do you want my best or what you need to see?" "Your best is what I want to see," the teacher said with a sneer. Naruto only said, "Yes, sir," before he turned into a ball of light. Everyone in the group felt like they had seen the sun. Naruto had that glow for 10 seconds before his teacher yelled at him to stop. The teacher and the students had to wait a few minutes to get their sight back. Naruto was able to hide his grin from the teacher before she saw it. Never do that again, Uzumaki. I will admit you have more chakra than anyone your age should have, but that is not a reason to flaunt it. You need to control all that power. Yes, sir, Naruto answered. The teacher took the class outside. All right, class. Now we will start your chakra control exercises. All of you have shown enough chakra to do this, so I want no slackers. Today I will show all of you how to climb walls and trees without your hands. You will use chakra through the soles of your feet to grip the tree. This technique is the basis for the tree and roof running you see so many ninja of Konoha use. He or she walked up the wall of the training area with a little help from the other people there. He looked down at the class from about 20 feet up. The most difficult part of this exercise is getting used to the way your perception shifts when in a plane that is not vertical. It is easy to become disoriented because gravity still works on you even though your feet are gripping the surface. That is why this is used mainly as a practice exercise and not a routine procedure. First step, lift one foot and place it flat on the wall. Mold chakra through that foot to get it to grip at the wall. Once you can lean back at a steep angle and have your foot remain gripping the wall, you get my attention, and then you can switch to work on the other foot. Sometimes it takes a different amount on each foot to get this to work. You may approach the wall and begin. The class took the lead to start. The other girl in class and Sakura were both able to put one foot to work almost right away. They moved their feet and raised their arms. Naruto was always using chakra and his foot was pulling away from the wall. The jutsu teacher turned to each person and told them what they were doing wrong. He told each person to use more chakra each time. He looked at Naruto and growled, "Way too much chakra, Uzumaki." Naruto did what his teacher told him and applied less and less chakra until he finally got the foot to stay on the wall. He was the last person to switch feet, but the second foot came off the first time. The teacher was happy that everyone in the class had finished the first step in just 1 hour. The next part would be harder than the last one. He showed the class a side of the wall that was tilted sharply and had bars hanging over it. Second step. I want each of you to grab the bar on the wall in front of you. You will lift yourself off the ground and place your feet against the wall. You will use your chakra to hold your feet in place and slowly relax your arms until your weight is on your feet. You will need to increase the chakra you use to do this as more weight is on your feet. Once you can maintain the grip with your feet, you will release the bar and keep yourself firmly attached to the surface. Once everyone has accomplished this, we will move on. The class started the new activity again. Once again, Sakura and the other girl were the first two to get it right. Naruto came in third, not far behind. The teacher walked up to Naruto, looked at him, and then pulled on him to see how well he was attached to the steep surface. How is it you could not get one foot to stick for so long but now can learn this part so fast, Uzumaki? I learn best by doing, sir. Once I knew how much to chakra use, it was easy after that. Adding a little more was easy for me too, Naruto said. As he turned to get the rest of the class up to speed, the teacher laughed. A few people fell, but because the conditions were controlled, no one got hurt. The teacher moved on to the third exercise once everyone had mastered the third step. This is the toughest part. Now each of you will actually climb a wall. You will be allowed to step on the slanted part on the way up. From a standing start, you will place one foot on the slanted surface, and lift yourself up, then place the other foot higher on the wall and then proceed to walk up the wall. You will not run during this exercise. It is intended to train your control, not your speed. Moving at a slower speed means you need greater control to get up the distance required. If you find your leg strength lacking, use chakra to support the muscles. I expect us to be working on this for at least the next 2 days, so those who finish early can keep doing it by going up backwards. Those who cannot do this exercise forwards and backwards after 2 days had better practice on their own time or you will fail the final. Do you understand? Everyone in the class yelled, "We get it, sir." The teacher leaned against the wall to watch the class practice. A lot of people fell, but no one was seriously hurt. The class finished the activity over the next 2 days. Even though she was at a higher level of control, Sakura was almost out of chakra. Naruto rode her on his back as she fell asleep and walked toward her house. He saw Team 10 coming the other way, but he didn't say anything as they went by. Sakura's foot had barely touched Shikamaru. He looked up for a second, then turned around and looked back over his shoulder. Naruto? Sakura? He jerked and stopped when he heard his name. He was almost awake. Sakura moved around on his back and slowly lifted her head off his shoulder, saying, "Here, sir." Then Choji, Ino, and Asuma all stopped and turned around to see what was wrong. The rest of Team 10 saw Shikamaru talking to two regular military ninjas, one of whom was carrying the other on his back. Asuma moved to the side, saw Naruto's face, and frowned. Naruto's face looked very tired, and his features were blank to the eye. The girl on his back looked like she had just woken up and was even more tired. Their eyes, though, were what gave him the most trouble. It wasn't that they were empty, but that they seemed guarded and unable to show how they felt. He needs to talk to his dad about this. Shikamaru looked at the two people with a critical eye, taking in how they looked and how they were feeling. It took him longer to think about this. "We haven't seen either of you since graduation. We were just going to get some barbecue. You want to come?" When Shikamaru looked back at Asuma with a look, Asuma spoke up and said, "That's a great idea, Shikamaru." He then waved Team 10 off, and Naruto followed behind, still carrying Sakura. Once they were all inside, Asuma pushed Naruto and Sakura against the wall to make room for them. Ino slid in next to Sakura and Choji, who were standing outside of Ino. Asuma sat on the outside, while Shikamaru sat next to Naruto. Naruto and Sakura both sat there while Team 10 ordered food for the whole group. Ino spoke up and asked them some questions. Since neither of them moved to take off their hoods, Asuma said, "You know, you can take off the hoods now." Naruto said, "We are still on duty until we arrive at home, sir. We are supposed to be in uniform on duty." Asuma said, "Well, I am a Jonin and I say you are off duty while you are in here eating, so take them off." Sasuke and Naruto both took off their hoods, and Ino almost passed out when she saw how bad Sakura's hair looked. "Damn, forehead, what did you do to your hair? It's almost as short as Hinata's now. It was in the way and I didn't have time to roll it back up into a bun, so I had to cut it or do 50 push-ups for being out of uniform," Sakura said in a tired voice. "It was below my neck." Asuma looked shocked at Ino and nodded. "But my ponytail goes almost all the way down my back. And I don't have to wear that hideous uniform. Why do they have to?" she asked her tutor. Asuma sighed and went into lecture mode. They both washed back from the elite program into the standard military ninja program. The elite program that you are in, Ino, is what most of the world sees of our ninja. The elite program gets the high-profile missions that make a village famous and get the village a lot of money from clients who wish for the ninja they hire to be seen. The elites also tend to be the more powerful ninja of a hidden village and get unique reputations. Genin in the elite program don't have to wear standard uniforms, so they can be seen in public much easier. Most Chunin and Jonin in the elite program tend to move to a more military style of dress, so they do not stand out as much to the enemy. Standard military ninja are a different group. They wear uniforms all the time. They get the quiet missions and the dirty missions. They take guard duty in Konoha. They keep the village secure and handle all the things that we take for granted with our elite status. They also rarely get high-profile missions and few advance to Jonin rank. However, a large portion of Anbu is drawn from the best of them. When someone fails out of the academy due to lack of skill or failed by a Jonin sensei, they get sent to the military ninja basic training to see if they can still be useful as a ninja. Ino said, But Sakura was smarter than I was, Asuma sensei. She should still be one of us." "Not Ino," Sakura said in a low voice. "Yes, I was smart, but I was also being very stupid. I spent all the time I could have been getting physically stronger chasing after Sasuke. Now I know better, but I am not going to quit. I can't quit now. I have to get through this to the end." "Why not?" Ino asked in a weak voice. "You can always quit the program if you are not a genin yet." Naruto turned to look at Ino across the table and said, "If either of us tries to quit or back out now, Hokage-sama will send us to join the daimyo's legions as conscripts." He asked, "What are the daimyo's legions?" Asuma said, "They are the military forces that answer directly to the daimyo as opposed to the Hokage. Normal professional soldiers who have no chakra are people who wanted to fight but not be ninja. Local militias, police forces and conscripts are also a part of the legions. Conscripts are basically slave labor in the legions. Few conscripts survive their terms of conscription. If Naruto and Sakura are sent there, it would be a horrible and short life. What would happen? Asked Ino, who was pale. Naruto would be lucky. He would probably make it. He would be little better than a pack mule, though, and he wouldn't get to fight. He would only have to do hard work. Sakura, Asuma stopped and looked up at Sakura. He saw a little spark in her eyes, and she gave him a small nod. She knew what might happen to her there. Asuma said, Sakura would be used by the troops, as a pleasure woman and a cook. Likely she would not live very long. When they heard that, Choji and Ino both had tears in their eyes. As Ino screamed, "That's cruel and inhuman." Asuma gave another nod. Sending someone to the legions is a last resort for Konoha. It is reserved for the worst and most incompetent of trainees. Hokage-sama normally just dismisses people from the military instead of doing that. The group was quiet for a while before Shikamaru spoke up. I doubt that would happen to them, Ino. Unless the standards are ridiculously high, they should already be more than strong enough to pass now. Judging by how their uniforms fit and in spite of their being tired, I think the pair of them could defeat all three of us right now in a straight battle. He looked at Naruto, Sakura, and then back at Shikamaru. Are you sure, Shika? They look pretty tired, he asked. Shikamaru said, you both were so busy listening to Asuma-sensei that you haven't watched them. They have been quietly eating almost constantly since the food was brought up. I would guess that Sakura's chakra reserves are back up to a quarter of their normal level from being nearly empty less than an hour ago. Physically, they are each stronger than me and Ino, and they would not fool around with flashy jutsu. They would move in to disable immediately with kunai and taijutsu. They are not mere ninja anymore, Choji. They are soldiers as well. I think Naruto as he is now would easily defeat Sasuke. While laughing, Ino said, as if Sasuke-kun would roast him in a few seconds. Shikamaru said, no, Naruto would beat him in a few seconds. Not with anything flashy. Just go right about it and cut him down without a word while Sasuke was trying to brag about his superiority. After a small smile, Naruto said, I might let him think he had a chance, Shikamaru. But I think that is about right. Asuma said again, Ino, I mentioned that most of Anbu comes from the military ninja. What I did not tell you is more specific. Nearly all Anbu come from academy students that were washed back to the military side from the elite side. Think about it. They had the skills and ability to make it through the entire academy program but lacked the one something a Jonin sensei felt was off to be a part of the elite. The military training and discipline added to that existing skill level and made them better than just academy or just military. I would not be surprised if in 5 years or so, both Naruto and Sakura would be invited to join Anbu. When Choji heard what Asuma said, he was so shocked that he didn't even notice Naruto sneaking the last piece of meat. Since the students had already shown they could climb walls, the chakra teacher quickly moved on to the next skill, which was walking on water. The whole class had to learn this in almost a week. Aside from Sakura, a few other people were able to do it on the first day, so they were given different versions of the challenge, like doing handstands or calisthenics on the high water. The chakra teacher didn't waste any time showing off his or her fancy, powerful jutsu. Every day, while he taught, he had his students hold on to the ceiling beams. He taught the class simple D-class jutsu. By pulling water out of the air with a simple water jutsu, you can fill up a canteen. Fire skills that could be used to cook food without a campfire and be held in one hand. Earth jutsu that could be used to hide trash and waste at a campsite. Use wind jutsu to dry wet clothes. The simple jutsu moves that the class learned made more sense for a secret service than the elite ninjas' flash moves. When they were done learning chakra and jutsu, the class would be like real ninjas. Quiet, skilled, and hard to see. Danzo-sama, the latest report from the instructor has been forwarded to us. There are several promising candidates we can have assigned to root members. Subject Uzumaki is showing great progress as far as self-control now. The agents watching him have not detected any contact with him in private outside of a dinner with some of their old academy classmates last month after Uzumaki and Haruno bumped into them. The agents are worried because the Jonin sensei of that team is Sarutobi Asuma. Have there been any attempts to contact Uzumaki in his residence? Our agents have reported none in all the time he has been in the program. They have to be careful to avoid the normal Anbu watch on the boy, but they are able to maintain surveillance. The dinner was the only contact with his former friends in months. Only subject Haruno has close ties to him now. She is on the consideration list. Danzo gave a nod. Send a message to keep Uzumaki alone after training tomorrow. Someone will have a talk with him then. The chakra teacher told Naruto, Uzumaki, one of the instructors wants to talk about your flaws as a ninja with you after today's training session. Haruno, there will be no need to remain waiting for Uzumaki today unless you have a pressing need for more push-ups. The two of them both said, yes, sir. He sat down to wait and watched Sakura walk off. Perhaps this is the message the old man has been waiting for, he thought. Someone opened the door and said, Uzumaki, come with me. Naruto got up and followed the man, who he knew as his first teacher and who always called him, Whiskers. He didn't know what the man's name was. Naruto was taken to an office by his teacher and told to sit in a chair with his back to the door. Someone yelled across the hall, wait here, Uzumaki. Don't turn around. The door opened. Someone walked down the hall, and the office door shut. There were two people behind Naruto that I could hear. Uzumaki, we have a problem to deal with. It seems you are up to the task for us. Right now you are on the cusp of failing out of our little program along with your little friend. Your discipline problems have all been documented and will count against you when the final scores are added up. If you decide to help us with this little problem, those records will disappear. Toshin asked, what if I decide not to help? Then we will have no choice but to apply those records in full force, making both you and your little friend, Sakura, fail. You know what failure would bring for each of you. Yes, we know you still call her, Sakura-chan, when you are alone. Imagine poor little Sakura-chan being sent out as a conscript. Her first night being auctioned off to the highest bidder as a prostitute. That man taking her in various disgusting ways before tossing her to the rest of the men. Naruto's fist clenched on its own as the man talked about Sakura's treatment for a few more minutes in a casual way. What would I need to do? He finally asked. It took Naruto a while to get back to his apartment. He had no idea what to do. Sakura-chan would be sent out as a conscript if he turned down the mission. His mind kept going back to images of Sakura-chan being abused and raped. It hurt his chest to think about it. She was a lot nicer to him after that. She no longer yelled at or hit him. They even talked about little things. She smiled at him even when no one else was around. He couldn't send Sakura-chan to that life, so he gave up his own to protect her. To make sure she was okay, he would do what the people asked of him. He went up to Ichiraku and asked for a Hokage-sized bowl of ramen. He knew that the old man was the only one who could take that off of her now. He hoped the message would get through in time so he could finish what the unknown people had asked him to do. Naruto was getting tense as he waited for the old man to arrive at his apartment. He had less than an hour to leave for the mission if he wanted to finish it. He saw the old Hokage in his living room when a puff of chakra smoke came up. I assume since you used the emergency contact, that something has come up? Sarutobi pointed out. Yes, sir, Naruto answered. Sorry, too used to having to respond like that. I had some guys today ask me to do something that I know is illegal. But if I don't do it, they're going to make sure your threat against Sakura-chan happens for sure. His chin was stroked by Sarutobi. Root was trying to use Naruto's friendship with Sakura against the boy, just like he thought would happen. Once Naruto had done the crime, they would have a hold on him that they could use to keep him interested. What do they want you to do, Naruto? Asked the head of the school. They want me to break into a warehouse and steal something illegal hidden inside it. He thought about what Naruto was told to do while stroking his beard. It would be easy for Danzo's men to catch him because he did something illegal. That could be too much for Naruto to get past, even with his plans. Then he said, do as they ask. Since I am aware of it, I can make sure nothing comes out against you in the end as you are under my orders. Like I told you months ago, we do not blame the subordinate for following the orders of the superior. Sarutobi saw that the boy was much calmer and less excited than he had been 6 months ago, when the boy would have yelled with joy. Naruto smiled. Sir, old man, could I make one request? What is it, Naruto? Could you cancel your order to have Sakura-chan sent to the legions if something goes wrong for me? I mean, I understand a lot more about what being a ninja really means these last few months, and she would make a good one. If something bad happens to me with all of this, I'd feel better knowing that Sakura-chan won't have to face that life. He was very proud when he heard that from Naruto. No matter how dangerous the mission was, the boy still looked out for someone important to him. Consider the order rescinded, Naruto. I had no intention of sending either of you into that hellhole of a life, but I had needed to make it convincing enough to make Danzo's men approach you. They have taken much longer than I had hoped, but that is why I have had so much trouble catching them in the act. They are careful and will not hesitate to use your conscience against you until they have you trapped. Naruto smiled an extra time. There was no way that Sakura-chan could be hurt. One last question for you, Naruto. I have heard from Iruka that he has not seen you at all for months now. Are you avoiding him? Naruto ducked his head and gave a small blush of shame. Actually, the one day off I get, I normally end up sleeping most of the day. If he came by, I don't think I would have even heard him knocking. Sarutobi laughed lightly. You should make time to see your friends, Naruto. They are what keep a person going in the hard times. I should be leaving before the spies watching you see me. Naruto said, I need to leave soon myself. I don't expect trouble, but I was told Anbu patrols the Uchiha estate more than most places in the village. In a puff of smoke, Sarutobi was gone, and Naruto turned to get his gear ready. As memories of the shadow clone came back to Sarutobi, he sat back. He smiled again as he thought about what Naruto had asked. The boy was as strong as he thought he would be. Still, the insurance he bought would come in handy at some point. Saru Haruno was quiet as she and Naruto walked home. The Hokage told her she would join the legions if she failed or quit. Every kunoichi knew the scary stories that could come from that sentence. She was doing well in this class to help her catch up. They liked making fun of both her and Naruto a lot. She had shown, though, that she was more than up to the task. For the first time she could remember, she was proud of herself. Now, this thing the Hokage did to her made her feel bad about herself. He said good night to her, and she went to her parents' house. Of course it was dark. Since Sakura was no longer in the elite program, her mother was given a shift in the evenings. Apparently, her mom's boss thought that he didn't need to keep the elder Haruno happy any longer. She felt bad every night when she got home to a dark house. One more reason she had to get through this. She was the only Haruno left who was a ninja because her father had died on a mission years before. The commander who worked for her dad kept his word and got Sakura an appointment at the academy once she was ready to go. There were more Harunos, but her uncle and cousin didn't want to be ninjas. They were happy with their job as bureaucrats. As she was being taught, Sakura heard a noise in the living room and peered in. A voice called out, "Sakura, come in. It's your parents' house after all." When she walked into the room, the Hokage was sitting on her couch with his pipe that wasn't lit. On either side of it, an Anbu pair stood, a bear and a cat. I know I am not your favorite person at the moment, Sakura, but I have a reason for what I said this afternoon. Will you listen to what I have to say? The Hokage said with a calm tone. All right, Sakura said with a bit of a lip bite. Good, he replied with a small smile. He pointed to the couch next to him, and she sat down as gracefully as she could. First of all, Sakura, I must tell you I have no intention of sending you to the legions. I needed to say that because some people are after Naruto. She said in a soft voice, why would people be after Naruto? He's just another loser like me. Sarutobi spoke in a harsh tone. Sakura, you know that is not true. Kat here has been keeping an eye on things with your class for me. She is keeping me up to date on the progress of everyone along with keeping an eye on Naruto. According to her, both you and Naruto are the top in your class and make a good team. You have a huge edge in chakra control over him while he has the physical skills. Right now, both of you can easily make genin. As far as Naruto goes, he is a special case. There are reasons I cannot tell you his secrets right now, but if he feels the need to tell you of them one day, he can tell you. Otherwise, you must wait to be told on making Jonin rank or Anbu. But going along with that, people are after him because of those secrets. Are you with me so far? Sakura said, yes. Good. I would like you to keep an eye on Naruto for me. But isn't that what your Anbu is for? There are times in your class when Kat cannot know what is happening unless she reveals herself. If Naruto is approached by anyone suspicious, I need to know about it. That is why I am asking you to do this for me. As I said, you are good enough to be a genin on your own merits right now. Whatever the instructors do to try to fail, you will be countered. Several of them are working for the people after Naruto and will be removed when the time comes. All I ask from you is that you keep me informed of anything strange that happens with Naruto. She looked down and bit her lip. The fact that the sentence was over made her feel better. Just watch out for Naruto was all she had to do. In the past few months, he had become her best friend. She told herself that she didn't like him sexually or romantically, and that dreams about him didn't count. He wasn't as bad as he seemed when compared to Sasuke back at the academy. He did have some good skills. She already kept an eye on her friend, so she knew how to do it again. She kind of asked, would we be able to get back into the elite program? Sarutobi smiled and said, I won't make any promises to you, Sakura. Everyone who graduated but washed back has a chance to get back into the elite once they finish the remedial course. If you make it back, it has to be on your own merits. Bear cracked a soft laugh behind his mask. For the first time in days, Sakura gave a soft smile. She hadn't even hoped for a chance. But after everything she had been through, getting it would be more important to her now. She had learned to value success by putting in the work. For years, she thought her future was set, but she failed because she didn't try hard enough. She was better. I'll keep an eye on Naruto for you, Hokage-sama. Sarutobi was happy with the meeting and made plans for how to let him know if anything came up. There was a message this afternoon saying that something had happened. Naruto was told to stay behind. Very quickly, messages came in from Sakura, Kat, and then Ayame. He was proud that they all put their trust in an old man and showed that they could trust him. He wished Asuma had been as helpful. Damn it, Dad. I just got in from dinner with my team. We ran into Naruto and Sakura. Those two are worn out. I don't know what kind of hell they're going through in that remedial class, but it is way beyond what normal genin should be getting. I know it is. I have Kat keeping an eye on them. She is keeping me informed. Asuma said, informed is one thing, Dad. They are going to break on you and your whole gambit is going to go down in flames. If I didn't know Sakura was acting about how she would be going into the legions, I would have believed her. He put a folder in a secret compartment on his desk and took it out. Asuma, look at this list. This is the list of people that Man Koga was working with. We have confirmed over 3 dozen root members since then, and that does not include current shinobi. If they rise up against Konoha, the results could be devastating. I have so few people I can trust involved in this that I do not know if I will even wake up in the morning. I need to think of Konoha as a whole. If Root takes this place over hundreds, thousands will die in wars started by that lunatic. He has been working in the shadows for decades. Hidden from me, hidden from Minato. Several members of the clan council are on that list, Asuma. If I am forced to risk the lives of 2 genin, even if one is Minato's boy, in order to keep thousands of ninja and tens of thousands of civilians safe and happy, then I will do so. I may not like myself afterwards and I will pay for my choices with Kami, but I will do what needs to be done for the benefit of the greatest number of people. Asuma saw his father talk. As he did, he was both a strong leader and a tired old man. I have done much worse than this in my lifetime, Asuma. I just pray that the path I set finds them safe at the end of it. I would rather it was me taking the risk, but even I cannot do everything. Naruto was able to slide into the police warehouse for illegal goods with less trouble than he thought. He was told that the door key code would work, and it did. While police used to be in charge of security, Shunin and Genin squads now do most of it. That's why there weren't many guards on the buildings. The Anbu patrols in the area were the only thing that really worried him. He quickly found the box he needed and took the things out of it. Getting into the tower for Mizuki's scroll had been a lot harder than this. He just reminded himself that he was after the real thieves and traitors for the Hokage. A sound outside the door made him wait. The door was now being watched by a group, and he was stuck. It took too long. He moved a little farther away so that if it opened, no one would be able to see him. Slowly, time went by. He had to get this to the meeting place in order for the plan to work. He could only just barely make out the sound of broken glass. He got up when he heard footsteps leaving the door. His attention went back to the front door. Keep quiet. The door opened when he typed in the code. He sneaked out the door and shut it behind him without making a sound. Then he moved away to blend in with the shadows and get away. He just barely got to the place where they were meeting on time. Uzumaki, put the things on the ground and leave. Someone will be calling you soon. Naruto could only nod and leave to go back to his apartment. He stayed away from all the patrols he could see, but he never saw a shadow. From behind him, bright green eyes looked at him, and a thought came to mind. What the hell are you playing at, Naruto? Naruto tried not to yawn again while he waited for the teacher to start teaching again. Getting up to yawn 3 times today in class got him 3 sets of push-ups. He didn't want any more at all. Just 1 more week, and the remedial class will be over. He was sure of his skills now, and he had good enough control over his chakra to make up to 5 perfect copies. Now, he did chakra exercises every day as a matter of course. Instead of sand, there were 2 feet of water around each station on the morning obstacle course. It was not hard to jump and leap without falling in. It was hard for even the best of them to crawl along the surface without falling in, though. Even Sakura had given up a lot on that one. He didn't know why he was so tired lately. By mid-afternoon, Sakura was also starting to feel tired. It looked like no one else in their class was as tired as these two. Since his secret mission for the person he never saw, things had been getting worse. His favorite thing to do was carry Sakura home at night while she slept on his back. It was carved into the desk in front of him and said, "Uzumaki, wake up. I guess you want a record number of punishments in one day, don't you?" Haruno was sitting with her eyes closed, too, so she can join you. "Yes, sir," both genin said as they started to do the push-ups and counted out loud as they did each one. "I want both of you to remain after class today. We need to discuss your behavior." After waiting for hours, Naruto and Sakura were even more tired as they waited for the teacher to come in. The man walked in after waiting for 30 minutes. "Good, neither of you is sitting down. You are not as dumb as some of the students I have had. Now, what the hell is wrong with both of you? The past few weeks you both have been slipping up badly. You are falling asleep in class and I have seen Uzumaki carrying you home almost every night. Haruno, are you eating right? Are you not sleeping at night? What is going on?" Sakura said first, "I don't know, sir. I have been getting 9, sometimes 10 hours of sleep a night and I have been eating twice as much as I did in my academy days. I am good in the morning but as the day goes by, I am just more and more worn out. I feel the same way, sir. I am not as tired as Sakura is but by the end of the day I feel like I have been training all day without eating. I have seconds at lunch and I still have no energy." The teacher gave a nod. He was a chunin who had been in the service for more than 18 years. These kids were too smart to be in the remedial program. He knew that. He had a sense of these things that grew stronger over time. If they finish first in this class, it would be easy for them to get back into the elite program. The rankings for both had been slowly going down for the past month, though. Instead of getting worse, they were just not getting better as quickly as they had in the beginning, letting the others slowly pass them. It looked like they were almost back into elite at this point. He had seen that happen before, where good students were sent back to basic school. They started out well but fell behind as the others got better faster. They never got back to being elite, and they disappeared into the thousands of other ninjas. The chakras of both Uzumaki and Haruno looked like they were almost completely worn out. But he hadn't done chakra exercises with his class, he thought as he rubbed his chin. It would be building up again if they hadn't used chakra. It had to be something else, though, since their chakra kept going down. He finally said, "Both of you take off your clothes to your underwear." She blushed and stuttered, "Here, sir." "Yes, here, Haruno. Now. Consider it a training exercise to get over modesty. It might come up on a mission that you need to be unclothed around others. Just do it." "Yes, sir," they both said, and with some shaking, they took off their uniforms. While Sakura was still in her underwear and a camisole top, Naruto stood there in his boxers and t-shirt. Even though Naruto tried hard not to look, he couldn't help but want to. He felt something else happen and his nose started to itch really badly before he turned away from Sakura for good. She turned a bright red when she saw Naruto looking at her, and she frowned when he turned away. He must think she looks bad. Even though she wasn't as strong as Ino, he couldn't help but look at her. "Sir, may I please sit down?" Naruto asked the teacher. The teacher laughed and looked at Naruto, saying, "Oh, to be 13 again. I could do without the mood swings that come with puberty, but I guess that's just how humans react." He looked at Sakura, who was trying to hide, and said, "And straight as well. Okay, both of you can sit down. I'll be back in a minute," the teacher said, leaving with the uniforms. Time went by slowly as the teens sat still. Naruto had leaned back a little in his seat so Sakura could see more of his back than his side. Naruto just sat there with his arms crossed and his eyes turned away from her. She finally asked, "Is something wrong, Naruto?" "No," he said in a strained tone. Sakura was upset. When she felt like something wasn't right, she did what she always did. She thought about it. "It looked like he rubbed his nose and then turned away from me. After I left, he did it. This is my uniform." She looked at herself and said, "Oh, gross." She thought maybe she wasn't as ugly as she thought and smiled a little before her eyes turned evil. Iruka turned to face Naruto in front of the line and said, "Make a henge, Naruto." Naruto was gone in a puff of smoke. What came out of it was a blonde girl with long pigtails who was naked. She glared at Iruka and bit her lip. He flew back with blood pouring out of his nose. In his ear, a soft voice that sounded like a little girl asked, "Naruto-kun, don't you want to look at me anymore?" This almost calmed Naruto down. Naruto turned pale and then darkened his blush even more. Dreams danced in front of his eyes before it got dark. Before the blonde passed out, Sakura laughed as Naruto's nose seemed to spit blood. As she sat back down, she thought, "Well, at least he likes girls. He never did that to anyone," she said. After about 30 minutes, the teacher came back. Both teens looked a lot more awake than they did in class an hour before. While Sakura studiously ignored Naruto, he was quickly wiping up a stain. Teenagers. They're still teenagers even though they're ninjas, he thought with a laugh. It was Naruto and Sakura who got the clothes back from him. He gave each of them a business card and said, "Wash those tonight and wear them again tomorrow. Bring any other uniforms you have to this address after class tomorrow." She began to ask, "Sir?" As the teacher spoke, he raised an eyebrow and said, "No questions. It was an order, Haruno. Follow the order and don't ask any questions. Do you understand?" The teens said, "Yes, sir," and he sent them off. The teacher frowned as he saw them leave. Why would a pair of worn-out elites have low-level chakra-blocking seals sewn into their clothes? He gave it a lot of thought. That's something that only prisoners have. It wasn't a big enough problem to stop them. It was just too much to handle. Someone wants these kids to fail so that they can get back into elite. He was going to see an old classmate at the clothing store tonight before going home. His friend had made Anbu before getting hurt and having to quit. They hadn't been out for drinks together in a long time. When they went to class the next day, Naruto and Sakura were very active. They didn't care because they were glad they weren't going to sleep. The teacher was sure that something very wrong was occurring, so he chose to check out the file room before going to see his friend having fun with the kids. He looked through his own class notes for elites, which were from when he failed the remedial class. In the years he taught in this program, he had only had 2 or 3. Now that he knew of a pattern, he could easily see it when he looked at it. He checked with the training center's main file room to see what had happened to those students. There were a lot of elite program trainees coming through this center, so the file room was pretty big. There was no file he was looking for when he looked for the one he had 2 years before. This confused him. That's odd. I know he graduated. I did pass him in the end. His name isn't even on the list of graduates in this file right now. What might have been?
I will continue this story in next part. Till then, we weeb offline.